So I want to talk about something that's a pretty common point of confusion when we talk about whole life insurance. They can actually be at different levels based on your health. Uh, every company is going to have a standard cost based on your age, your gender, and whether or not you use tobacco and other factors. But your health is the main one that determines which of these levels you're going to get. And keep in mind that I'm speaking generally here. Different companies will use one term where another company uses it differently. But generally speaking, level coverage is when you get the best price, it's immediate coverage, and you get obviously the best price. That's when there are no health issues really that the company's that concerned about. They're going to give you the best rate that they have for your age and your gender. The next one is called graded. Different companies have different terms for it, but graded is usually when it's better than the bottom tier, but not as good as the best. You're going to pay a little bit more for it, and oftentimes what will happen is you'll have a reduced amount of insurance in the first year, a little bit more in the second year, and then after 2 years, some companies are actually a little bit longer than that, maybe 3 or even 4 years. You work your way up to that 100%, or let's say you have a $15,000 policy or $20,000. In the first year you might get $6,000, in the second year you might get $14,000, and then after 2 years you get the full $20,000. That's because there's some health concerns that the company has, and they just want to make sure everything's good before they put you in at 100%. So that's graded. And return of premium, ROP, or GI, guaranteed issue. You've also heard the term guaranteed acceptance. That's one you've seen on TV. A lot of times, I won't name the companies, but we all know who they are. They say, well, we'll take you no matter what. We don't care what your health is. We're not going to ask any questions. We don't care what kind of medications you're on. And you think, how in the world do they get by with that? How are they going to make, I could be dying next month for all you know. And you're telling me that you're going to take me? And so here's what they do. There is a waiting period. 2 years, most common, or even 3 years. And there is a difference between return of premium and guaranteed issue. Some companies format them differently, but there's a waiting period. You're going to pay in those premiums for 2 years before you have coverage for natural death because of your chronic illnesses. It's usually reserved for people who had a very recent serious event like a stroke or a heart attack within the last year or two, current cancer treatment, current treatment for AIDS, things like that. If you use oxygen to help you breathe, it's very likely that you're going to be in this waiting period. It's still a good thing because it totally destroys the myth that, you've heard people say, I'm uninsurable because of my health. Well, that is a myth. You actually can get insurance. You can always get this kind with no qualifications due to your health. So what happens if you get one of these, a waiting period, and you die in that first 2 years, let's say? What they're going to do is they're going to pay your beneficiary everything that you've paid in, and usually with some interest. The most popular one that you see on TV pays 7%. There are companies that I use that pay 10 and 15%. So there's better ones and worse ones out there. Some of them are priced higher than you would get with talking with a broker. So that leads to my next point: self-help. If you're trying to help yourself and buy insurance, you will most likely pay more by buying something off the TV or buying something through the mail because they have no agents and they can charge whatever they like. The problem is when you do that, and I see this every day almost, somebody has something like this where they have a waiting period, but they actually qualify for something better. It happened just recently. I had a lady in this category. She was still in her waiting period. I was able to get her much more coverage and at a better price, and I got her immediate coverage. So that's the advantage of speaking with a broker. So it's a good idea to have somebody that knows and has multiple companies they can represent to review your policy. Take a look at it because if they're not a broker, if it's an agent that represents one company, they only have what they have to offer you. They can't offer you anything different because they work for that company. But if you have a multitude of companies to look at simultaneously, and if that broker knows, you say you have COPD or you have diabetes, they know exactly which company that they can go with. It's going to be more friendly to that. Or you had a heart attack 3 years ago. They know where to put you. So that's the advantage of speaking with a broker. And on the subject of a review, that's something that obviously I offer, a free policy review, because I have found that roughly 70% of people who have a policy think that they have something different than what they actually have, or actually have no coverage at all. Again, that happened recently with a lady who thought she had a policy and it had expired a couple of years ago. There's multiple scenarios I could explain about that, but it's very common for people to think that they have something and they wind up having a term that's about to expire, and they didn't know that. They thought they were set for life, but they're really not. A lot of times that happens. So good, better, and best. It's good to know what you have. It's good to know if you qualify for something better, because there are new plans coming out all the time, and with different companies. So it's a good idea to have your policy reviewed. So hopefully that clears up some of that confusion.